everyone, welcome back to the channel Lesson Up with Sugandha. This video is going to cover basically redox reactions or oxidation reduction reactions, corrosion and rancidity. We'll be talking in detail how do these redox reactions actually happen, and what is corrosion, what is rancidity, and how can we prevent the two, right? So I welcome you again, and let us begin. So on the screen you are able to see oxidation reduction reactions, right? We also call them as redox reactions, right? Redox reactions, why? Because it is a short form for reduction and oxidation. So just looking at the definition of redox reactions, it's written here that's in a redox reaction, electrons move between atoms, right? And I've also shown a diagrammatic representation here, which will help us understand better that I have an atom A and an atom B, and this electron is moving from one atom to another, right? So this might be termed as a redox reaction. Why? Because it fulfills our definition that in a redox reaction electrons move between atoms, right? There could be a movement of one electron or more than one electron. And I just also want you to focus here that there has to be an atom that is losing an electron only when there is an atom which is ready to accept an electron, right? So redox reaction has to happen in pair. That means oxidation and reduction go hand in hand. There has to be one atom who's willing to give away only if there is an atom present willing to take that atom or electron rather, right? So we'll pan over here to the understanding part, that actually what is happening in reduction and oxidation, right? So we are going to understand redox reaction in the terms of electrons, in terms of hydrogen, and in terms of oxygen. Okay, so let's dive in. If I want to focus upon reduction, so what is actually in terms of electron? Whenever there is a gain of electron happening, we say reduction has happened. Or wherever there is a gain of hydrogen, reduction has happened. On the contrary, if we talk about oxygen, loss of oxygen will be termed as reduction, right? It's a little confusing. We'll understand why gain in two examples is termed as reduction, and loss we understand it goes by the word reduction, right? We'll see in just a while. So if I talk about oxidation now in terms of electron, hydrogen and oxygen, oxidation is what will be opposite? Loss of electron is oxidation. Loss of hydrogen is oxidation. But gain of oxygen is oxidation, right? Your CBSE 10th standard questions are majorly based upon oxygen part and electron part. We'll be focusing here on the electron part to make you understand better for your further studies as well, right? Higher standard questions are also asked upon electrons, so we're going to focus just on the electron part, and we're going to understand redox reactions and take some examples based on the understanding of our electron gain or loss, right? So let us look at the table again. Reduction means whenever there is a gain of electron or gain of hydrogen or loss of oxygen. Oxidation, on the other hand, could be loss of an electron, loss of hydrogen, or gain of oxygen. So if I now take electron into account and try to understand which atom is doing what, so let us just try to understand. So my A atom, the electron is moving out of this atom. It is losing an electron. So what process is happening here? The process of oxidation is happening here. And oxidation is only happening because reduction has happened. So the other one, my B atom, is accepting an electron. It is gaining an electron, right? So gaining of electron will be termed as reduction, right? I might also say in another term that oxidation, or this A atom, is oxidized because it has undergone the process of oxidation. Similarly, I can say that the B atom, because it has undergone the process of reduction, is reduced, right? The process of oxidation will lead to the atom being oxidized, and the process of reduction will lead to the atom being reduced. So now understanding why gaining of electron is termed as reduction. Have a look at this chart. So what is happening here is whenever we add electrons, the atom tends to reduce on its energy. Adding in electrons leads to reduction in energy, and that is why we say that gain of electrons will lead to reduction. I hope it helps you to understand better that why gaining of electrons is termed with reduction, right? And just to understand this confusion and not to let it hamper in your studies, I've devised two things here, two ways of learning. So if you are an animal lover, you can always learn this. Leo the lion says grr, right? So Leo the lion says grr means Leo stands for loss of electrons is oxidation. The lion says grr, gain of electrons is reduction. You can also understand and learn by this method. Oil rig, oxidation is loss, oxidation is loss, reduction is gain, right? I hope it helps you to understand, right? Let us look at this example. Okay, this is a very common example, salt formation. Na plus Cl gives NaCl, right? I've also written the atom form here, the charged form here. So that when I look at the reactant sides, I don't see anything that is charged. So that means, and on the other hand, when I look at the product side, my products are charged and they're close to each other. Look at the distance here. So these two, the Na and the Cl, have been kept separate. The Na plus and the Cl minus are clubbed together. Why? Because these are opposite charges and they attract each other. Right? We have learned that earlier. Opposite charges attract each other. So that means there are no charges here. These are electrically neutral. The Na and Cl on the reactant sides are electrically neutral, and that's why they are separate entities. But when there is oxidation reduction reactions happening, what happens is one of the atoms will lose an electron and the other will gain an electron, leading to a redox reaction, and hence Na plus and Cl minus. Let us look at the atom form here. The movement of electron has happened, as we can see here. The movement of electron from Na to Cl has taken place. That means Na is the one which has lost an electron, which has been oxidized, and Cl is the one which has gained an electron and is reduced, right? Since Na has lost an electron, it will become Na plus, and since Cl has gained an electron, it is reduced and it has become Cl minus. So that means the Na plus and Cl minus is reduced here. These become charged and so they lead to the attraction of opposite charges and hence the NaCl compound that is formed here. Right? So we now know that how are these redox reactions happening. Which atom gets reduced on doing what. If an atom loses an electron, it becomes oxidized. If an atom gains an electron, it becomes reduced. So after understanding this, it is time to understand about oxidizing and reducing agents. Right? As we learned earlier, there has to be an atom which is able to give away an electron only when there is an atom which is ready to accept an electron. So that means for an atom to get oxidized, there has to be a atom or an entity that is helping the atom to get oxidized, to lose an electron. So we saw in the earlier case that Na is an atom which is able to lose an electron so that Cl can take it up. How can I better state it? So that means the Cl is helping Na to lose the electron. That means it is helping Na to get oxidized, to be able to give away its electron. So Cl is the one which is acting as oxidizing agent. It is the helper that is allowing Na to lose an electron. Similarly, Na is the one which is helping Cl to gain an electron from Na. So this Na here is acting as a reducing agent because it is allowing Cl to gain an electron, to help it get reduced, right? So the one basically that gets oxidized is the reducing agent, and the Cl which is actually getting reduced is the oxidizing agent. So we're just going to write it over here to remember better. Oxidized atom is reducing agent, reduced atom will be the oxidizing agent, right? Okay. So I have a reaction here, the same reaction again. We're going to understand that which one is getting oxidized and which one is getting reduced, and which is the oxidizing agent and which is the reducing agent, right? So Na, since it gives away the electron, right, it is the one which is losing an electron. That means it is oxidized, or oxidation is happening here, right? And Cl is the one which is gaining that lost electron from Na. So reduction process is happening here. On the other hand, Na is the one which is acting as a helper for Cl to take up that electron. So it is the reducing agent, and Cl which is helping Na to lose the electron, this is the oxidizing agent. As we told earlier, the one which gets oxidized acts as a reducing agent, and the one that gets reduced acts as an oxidizing agent, right? So this was all about oxidation reduction reactions, and I hope it is clear, right? This would also help you to balance some of the equations which we'll cover in some of the coming videos, right? So now let us look at the next part, which is corrosion. So corrosion we see in our very day-to-day life, and in terms of science, it is a very simple explanation that it's a slow conversion of metals into some undesirable compounds. We don't really want those products to form, but because of some reactions or some reasons that we're going to see here, the metal which is shiny and bright gets corroded, and we get an unwanted, undesirable product there, right? So this corrosion could happen because of some of the reasons, which could be a reaction with oxygen, gases, acids, moisture, or anything for that matter, right? There are lots of reasons. I've just listed some over here. So let us look at some of the examples. So we have covered 3 examples here. Iron plus oxygen and moisture leads to the corrosion a process called rusting, and we end up with a reddish brown iron oxide, right? We see rusting in very day-to-day life, old chairs, old almirahs. If they're not used or they have not been painted again, so they, what happens there is, because of long-term exposure to oxygen and moisture, a reddish brown layer is formed, right? And that layer is actually what? It is iron oxide. The process of rusting has happened there. And mind it that rusting generally is related with iron only, products made out of iron. It could be any alloy also that is made up of iron, right? So looking at another example, copper also does the same thing. So this copper, on reacting with oxygen and moisture, gives us a blue-green copper carbonate compound, right? All those old copper utensils not been used for a long time, you see a blue-green film over there, right? And that really cannot be removed easily. It has to be galvanized, it has to be repainted, or it has to be remolded. So then only we can get that copper back, right? So copper and oxygen and moisture gives us a blue-green copper carbonate product. So these two things, oxygen and moisture, in both the cases are quite important. Another example, silver with sulfide. It gives us a black silver sulfide compound, which is again undesirable. We don't want our silver that is quite shiny converting into a black silver sulfide, but it happens because of the reaction. This is what corrosion is, right? There are a lot of methods to prevent corrosion, right? We can paint the product, we can prevent it by greasing, alloying, oiling, galvanizing. We'll cover all these points in the coming non-metals and non-metals chapter, right? So it's just an overview about how can we prevent corrosion. Okay. And here we are on to the last topic of the chapter, which is about rancidity. Rancidity is nothing, the food gets stale, the food that basically contains fats and oils, right? That gets stale. The food tastes very bad, it smells very bad. That is what rancidity does. So what is it actually? It is the oxidation of fats and oils in food due to exposure to atmosphere. And this leads to the change of taste and smell, right? And how can we prevent it? There are some of the methods listed here. One of the ways is to store away it from direct sunlight. We need not keep it outside the refrigerator. And the other one leads to the same, that we can store it at low temperature, right? We can also add antioxidants. Why antioxidants? Because process of oxidation is happening here. Since oxidation is happening, if we want to prevent that oxidation, we need to add antioxidants, right? And lastly, minimize use of salts in fried foods. By using less salts in fried foods, we can always lead to prevention or delaying at least of rancidity. So this was all about redox reactions, corrosion, rancidity, and I would like to see your comments in the section below to let me know if you have any doubts, and would also request you all to like, share and subscribe to the channel, right? Thank you so much.